Hello students. I will try in this video to technologically introduce the principal sequencing rules that govern the precedence between features constituting a sheet metal part. Of course, I will try to explain this as simply and as clearly as possible. Okay, let's go. First of all, it should be remembered that the features that can be carried out on a sheet metal blank are mainly the sharing features, the forming features, and the drawing features. And it's very important to note here that a minimum distance between features or between features and edge must be taken into consideration, and I explained this in the previous video. These minimum distances must be taken into consideration since if these minimum distances are not respected, this will induce problems related to plastic deformation, such as distortion and other problems. And these problems will strongly affect the dimensions and the locations of the neighboring features. For a reason or another, it's not obvious to respect this minimum or these minimum distances between features or between features and edges. Nevertheless, we can avoid or reduce the problems related to the plastic deformation using an appropriate precedence between features. This appropriate precedence between features will permit to minimize the plastic deformation problems induced by the carrying out of one feature on the other ones. The neighboring ones has the need for some suitable sequencing rules permitting to ensure this appropriate precedence. Now I will talk about the general sequencing rules, and here if I consider a sheet metal part, of course this part will be constituted by sharing features, and you can notice that I differentiate between small and large holes and slots, and also we can have forming features, bands, hems, and flanges, and we can have drawing features. It's to note here that in drawing sheet metal parts, holes and slots are subjected to high stress, which might cause metal failure. Also, the drawing might induce a severe distortion on holes and slots, so it will be wise to cut holes and slots, in other terms, to carry out sharing features after the drawing features. That's in one hand. On the other hand, carrying out the hemming and the flanging during the drawing operation will prevent metal flow and will induce wrinkles on the hems and the flanges. So it will be wise to carry out hemming and flanging after the drawing operation. Based on these observations, the drawing features must be carried out before the sharing features, and also the drawing features must be carried out before the forming features. Therefore, in order to ensure an appropriate precedence, the drawing features should be carried out the first. Now, it's to note that the forming features might induce a distortion on the neighboring holes and slots. So it will be wise to cut holes and slots after carrying out the forming features. Therefore, the appropriate precedence will give 2 for the forming features and 3 for the sharing features. So in global, the drawing features must be carried out the first, the forming features must be carried out the second, and the sharing features must be carried out the third. Now, if we advance within the forming features, we can distinguish another precedence, another advanced precedence. In fact, technologically, it is more efficient to flange first and bend the part afterwards. So, flanging must be carried out before bending. Also, it's to note that carrying out a hem in one single operation will require expensive equipment. So, the hem should be obtained in two operations. The part edge is first flanged and then formed over by a hemming. So the flanging should be carried out before hemming. Now, if we advance within the sharing features, we should note that the blanking, which is the operation permitting to obtain the edges of the sheet metal blank, will or might induce a distortion on the neighboring holes and slots. So the blanking should be carried out before the cutting of holes and slots. We note also that the cutting of a large hole or slot might induce a distortion on the neighboring small holes or slots. So it will be wise to carry out or to cut the large hole or slot before the neighboring small holes or slots. Now, as you can see, it's a table that summarizes the most common sequencing rules relating to the operations of punching, slotting, and perforating, which are the operations permitting to obtain the sharing features. And this table summarizes the most common sequencing rules relating to drawing, flanging, hemming, and bending, which are the operations permitting to obtain drawing features and forming features. This educational video takes end. I will appreciate all your questions, your remarks, and your suggestions in the comments. Thank you very much for your attention.